My name is Aisling. I was sold as a sex slave at 13 in Dublin. This is me story. I had grown up in the care system, the stay homes over the south side, and I was abused in every home I had gone into. So at 11 years of age I had started picking up drugs, and I kept running into town, and at the age of 13 I had met a man by the name of James McDonough. It's actually a familiar case in the year 2000, so it was 20 years ago. I was 13. He had groomed me for 2 days. I had run away from my home and I escaped, and his girlfriend had picked me up and brought me to a bar, a nightclub he had been working on in Ballymun, a famous one, the Slipper, and he had brought me back to a place in North Strand, and not a few doors away, it's under the bridge in North Strand, and he had told me he would give me a massage and strap me to the bed. Then from that day on, he had sold me as a sex slave. There could have been 5 men maybe in one day for maybe oral, blowjobs, sex.
At 13 years of age?
At 13 years of age, yeah.
And were you continuously tied to the bed?
Yeah, on a rope, handcuffs, in a silk satin dress. I'll never forget it.
Oh,
he used to bring me to sex shops. Well, he didn't. He used to be sitting outside in the car because I was afraid of him. I was afraid to run from him, because from being coming from the place I came from, I lived in fear. I would have been abused all my life, and
by health workers?
By health workers, by care workers that were made to look after me, by other children in the homes, mental, emotional, sexual, every type of blackmail you could think of, and abuse you could think of, physical. So.
Okay, so back to this guy McDonough. When you ran away from the care home, this man, am I right that this man, he noticed you on the street alone and he befriended you?
Yeah.
And you say he groomed you?
He groomed me, yeah. He brought me, out for meals with his girlfriend, right? I don't know whether it was his girlfriend or she was just walking with him. But they were saying they were going out, so he had brought me outside to get me drunk. I loved it because I wanted to escape. So my way of escaping was through drinking drugs. So he got me stoned. I loved him because he got me stoned, and he offered me a massage one night and tied me to the bed. And I think he had spiked me maybe that night because...
How old was this man?
He was 28 at the time. He was 28, I was 13.
Okay.
So, when he had got me to that bed that night, I remember a knock on the door, a man coming in and getting on top of me and getting at me, and never forget the smell of alcohol on his breath and his smell of his aftershave, and that continued for a little over 3 months after that.
How many men do you think in that time visited you in that room?
Within over 3 months, maybe over 100 men. But maybe there was regulars. He had regulars because I was only 13 years of age. He had regulars. At one time he had left 15 of his friends in, and every one of them had taken shots off me, spiked me.
And who were these men? Were they more from travelling community?
No, not the travelling community. They were actually, these were legal men, like guards.
What?
Judges.
Are you telling me guards in their uniform?
Not in their uniform, but in their cars, unmarked cars.
Are you sure that
Had,
guards
yeah.
partook?
Oh,
this?
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it's actually a famous case. If you Google from petty criminal to brutal pimp, it will come up and it will explain about James McDonough.
Okay.
But a judge was done for it. A few men now, because they hadn't got CCTV right on his house, a lot of men got away with what they had done to me. And it wasn't like they didn't know that I was underage. Before I had managed to get away from him, I'll explain to you what way he charged the men was for every 15 minutes was €150. Not euro, sorry, pounds. It was in 2000, it would have been just before the euro, but he would have been charging them by every 15 minutes with me. So I would have had to do from whatever they wanted me to fucking do. I was their bitch, their hoe, I was a bit of meat to them, and it came normal to me. So I done it for drugs too, to feed me habit. But I had escaped from the house. He hit me with a claw hammer in the head.
Sorry, take that again.
Yeah, he had hit me with a claw hammer in the head, and I had managed to ask him to go to the bathroom to clean myself up.
This is how you got away from him?
This is how I got away, yeah. So I managed...
Why did he hit you with a claw hammer?
Because I had arguments with him over... I wanted to go home. I was crying. I was trying to scream.
Sure.
I wasn't doing what he wanted me to do. I wasn't being obedient for him. I wasn't being his fucking meat anymore. I had enough. So basically I got away from him. I was brought he hit me with a claw hammer. I had managed to get up and run. I ran in front of a taxi man and he took me to Fitzgibbon Street. From there on I had gone through a trial. I was pregnant for I don't know who. The state system, believe it or not, wanted me to keep the child. I couldn't do that, Paul. I was fighting for an abortion in Ireland. I don't know, I think I was probably the youngest girl ever to fight for an abortion. And the social workers wanted me to keep the baby because they wouldn't do it. So I went out drinking one night. I had done horrific things to myself that I don't think would be for certain people's ears or from myself
just
personally.
To clarify for me, Aisling, are you saying that you tried to abort your own child?
Yes,
okay.
Yes I did. And I succeeded by going out and drinking raw vodka.
How old were you?
I was just going 14 at the time. And I was 7.5 months pregnant when I had lost Matthew Joshua, and that's what I named him. But I didn't want him. I was a kid having a kid. I didn't know who was.
Of course.
I didn't know any different, so I turned to prostitution myself.
Let me ask you a question here. It's very important. At this age, at this 14 years of age, getting pregnant, just being involved in a big national case that hit all the papers at the time, and being that young child, obviously the social services at some point were included and intervened in your life. How the hell did they not pick up the pieces from this time on, from when you were 14? How did you fall through the net again?
The system has failed me from a very young age, as I was wrongly put into the care system. They wrongly accused someone in my family of something that wasn't true, and I kept falling victim for the HSE, and they didn't report me for up to 3 weeks. They had helicopters out after 3 weeks. They had...
Wait, is this when you went missing?
Yeah, when I went missing with James back.
But tell me, when they found you and when it was all exposed...
When it was exposed...
What happened to
very actually, a lot of people that know this guard, and I hate guards. But I thank this man with my whole heart for saving me. I never forget the relief of actually looking at a copper and saying, oh my God, he's actually going to help me. So when I went to court, he was trying to fuck me head up the whole way through the court case, and
Who
me as
was
a James
okay,
the he was done for so many counts of rape.
So the HSE obviously got involved when all this came to light, and they must have been involved in your life at some point in that time.
Yeah.
How did you fall through their fingers then, as a 14-year-old child who'd been through such traumatic circumstances?
Believe it or not, they tried to buy me by putting me into hotels like the Glendalough Hotel, getting me 3-course meals, letting me illegally drink at the bar. Well, they had only actually, believe it or not, started to really look after me after that, when that case had gone to trial.
Wow.
We were at the forecourt for 2.5 weeks. That trial went on, but they had tried to buy me by putting me into the best of hotels, doing everything with me, you know.
When they actually got involved, right, so they're looking after you, putting you in big hotels, the case is going on, they're
getting me taxis to me clinic,
right.
getting me takeaways for a few weeks. It dried up when I was nearly 15, just after 15 I had turned a few weeks. I had come back into town, and I started getting chaotic in my drug use. I had gone out and sold myself.
Was there anybody linking in with you at this time?
No, there should have been, but along again, they had failed me again. They let me basically come in and destroy me fucking soul. Yeah. I would have sold my soul to the devil. When I had come in, I was so angry, I was so hurt, because the system failed. Not only me, but a lot of people. I'm sure this is going on in Dublin at this time, and abuse, sexual abuse, coppers, judges.
Tell me about in the care. You were saying care workers.
Care workers,
you as a child.
Yeah. I had a gay key worker, and she used to bring me up to a loft in a home, and she'd abuse me. And she'd tell me that no one would believe me, that obviously stuff was going to be hidden, and I didn't know that up until now, because I'll explain to you in a minute why, but that no one would believe me, that I was a bastard, I was a scumbag, I was a junkie, I was this, I was that, like, so.
How old were you when this was?
I was only a kid. From a very young age I was told I was always a bastard and I was no good.
By people in care?
By people in care that looked after me, yeah.
Incredible.
And knowing the key workers knew what was going on in the home as well. It wasn't just key workers abusing you, it was all their kids abusing you. So it wasn't just from key workers, mainly it was the HSE, yeah.
And let me ask you, Aisling, when you came out at 15, you're running wild in town, the HSE lost interest in looking after you. Where did your life go from then till now?
From the age of 15, I'll explain to you, I picked up a lot of charges. I would have went to prison, I done a hit and run. I'd no remorse for it. I do now when I think of it, because I'm now a new full-time mom. I'm doing great. I'm on a stabilisation programme on a clinic, giving clean urines on Trinity Court. I have a good partner, and we're waiting to get married.
He doesn't take drugs?
He doesn't take drugs. Wonderful. No, he doesn't take drugs. He's the first fella that actually walked into a relationship knowing what I had been through and supported me.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and loved me for who I was.
What's your situation now, love? Have you stopped being on the street?
Yeah, oh jeez,
Good girl.
I have not walked in years,
Right.
Paul. I let me barriers down for him. I fell in love with him kind of nearly straight out. I didn't know what love was until I met
How
him.
could you, sweetheart? How could you with that history?
I didn't know what love was till I met him, so I had a child for him, and yeah, things. Nobody is perfect in life, Paul.
No,
But
indeed.
we have our problems like every fucking other couple do. Excuse me, language. Sorry, like every other couple do. But we can work it out. I think if we both help each other, you know.
Wonderful.
We have a child. I was told I'd never have kids. I have a child. He's not even 2 months yet. I got a tumour removed. He was there for me all through it. Actually, when I think of it, he was there for me.
You've been through so much in your young life, Ashley.
Yeah, 37.
What's your hopes now, love? You have your
My
new
hopes
baby,
is, to be
healthy
honest,
baby.
I have a. I'm not going to lie to you. My son was born oromorph baby, which is a methadone baby. It was horrific looking at him for a month.
It's okay, love. It's okay. It's very real.
For a month going through sickness. When I was out smoking my brains with crack and selling crack when I was pregnant. That's all I knew.
It breaks your heart thinking of it. But you have a lovely little boy at home.
Yeah, I have a beautiful little healthy boy now.
Nobody can judge you, Ashley.
Nobody
What
can
you've been
judge me.
through, love.
Nobody can judge me.
Those
People
fucking
are-
adults that didn't look after you when you were a child. darling.
Yeah, but I believe in karma, Paul. I believe in karma.
Yes, so
You
do
know,
I, love.
I really believe in karma. I was told because of that horrific abuse, I could never carry a kid again. I had endured really horrific abuse at the hands of the HSE, and I will have my day with them.
Yes, no.
I will have my day with them. I will have my day with
Well,
them.
if you a new update is come back and update us and let us know.
Oh,
how
I
it
will
all went for
indeed.
you.
Yeah,
Ashley,
and
you know, you're a good girl, and I really wish you. You have a good heart, love, and I really wish you, Joey, and the baby. What's the baby's name?
Braxton Lee.
Braxton
Lee, yeah.
Yeah, Braxton
And
Lee,
he's
all the
gorgeous.
best.
He's a beautiful little boy.
I'm sure he
Beautiful little boy, and especially after being told, after enduring everything that I've endured in my life,
is. Yes,
and to be given that special little boy.
you were a survivor, and you have an amazing story, and you put your life into good stead and good place now for your young child coming up, and you have a wealth of experience to be able to help people. Maybe you could
Yeah.
find work in
A
some
sex working.
social, dealing with young girls on
I'm-
the street. Something you'd be great.
I'm looking into that. I actually, to be honest about it, I'm actually going to be open about this. We had a vigil a few weeks ago at near the Doll for friends of mine that were murdered when they were out walking, and guards never even looked for anybody, you know, for their murders because they
Right.
were walking girls and they were drug addicts, and
Yes,
so I'm looking to work with sex workers
to help them.
to help them.
Yes, indeed. Well, Ashton,
Yeah.
the best of luck for 2022.
Yeah, thank
and,
you.
For your beautiful young son,
Thanks for letting me do the interview to
Thank
let
you so
everyone know
much.
what
for doing the interview.
the HSE and guards and judges, they're so corrupt.
Okay.
So corrupt.
Thank you, Ashton.
Thanks, Paul.